This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're going to talk more about why insurance fraud is a violent crime and that committing murder for insurance proceeds gives someone a sentence of life in prison because it is not nice to break your wife's neck to collect her life insurance so you can get life in prison. Insurance fraud is and always has been a violent crime, and murder for insurance proceeds will invariably, when convicted, result in life in prison. Insurance fraudster and murderer Kenneth Russell Moyer appealed the trial court's denial of his petition for resentencing under Penal Code Section 1172.6. Moyer took issue with the jury's conclusion he was a beneficiary on his wife's insurance policy, his counsel's failure to properly litigate the issue at his first trial, and argued his appellate counsel's conclusion he is ineligible for relief under Section 1172.6 constituted ineffective assistance of counsel. In The People v. Kenneth Russell Moyer, the California Court of Appeals, on April 23, 2025, kept the killer in jail. The original information, charged Moyer with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, and attempted escape while felony charges were pending. The information further alleged the special circumstance that the murder was committed for financial gain. The facts of the underlying offense were set forth in the appellate decision from Moyer's prior appeal, People v. Moyer, August 30, 1996. Succinctly stated, in this case, a wealthy widow marries an unfaithful man who takes financial advantage of her, leading to her murder. Shortly after the start of their marriage, Moyer shared his plans with a man named Ross, a former employee who was in prison. The two discussed whether Ross would kill the victim for Moyer when he was released from prison in 1992 by breaking her neck. The plan failed when Ross was denied release. In September of 1992, Moyer and the victim each took out $180,000 life insurance policies. Each policy required a physical examination, and Moyer was the beneficiary of the victim's policy. The victim completed her physical examination, and her life insurance policy became effective. That evening, a passing motorist reported seeing a car plunge down an embankment. The motorist found the victim dead in the driver's seat, covered in dried blood. Mitch McLeese was semi-conscious in the passenger seat, but suddenly became alert when paramedics attempted to intubate him. He had no internal injuries and only a small cut. A pathologist determined the victim did not die in the car accident, but rather died from a broken neck. McLeese testified he was working in the couple's garage the night of the murder, and when Moyer called out to him, he came into the house and found Moyer standing over the victim's body. Moyer told McLeese that he had already killed the victim and instructed him to drive somewhere and stage an accident. When McLeese refused, Moyer threatened to tell the police that McLeese had killed the victim and also threatened his family and fiancée. After the murder, Moyer hired workers to scrape grout from the tiles in his house entryway, explaining he'd spilled cherry cough syrup on them. However, when investigators analyzed the grout, they found the victim's blood. McLeese was convicted on first-degree murder of the victim for financial gain and insurance fraud. The jury convicted Moyer of murder conspiracy to commit murder and insurance fraud. The jury also found true the special circumstance that the murder was committed for financial gain. The trial court sentenced Moyer to life without the possibility of parole for the murder, 25 years to life for the conspiracy, and 3 years in state prison for the attempted escape. Moyer moved for resentencing, and the trial court denied the petition, finding the record of conviction was found by the jury to have acted with the intent to kill, and therefore, as to both counts, the petitioner was ineligible for relief as a matter of law, and the court does not find a prima facie case showing had been made. Senate Bill 1437 added what is now Section 1172.6, which allows those convicted of felony murder or murder under the natural and probable consequences doctrine to seek relief. As to Moyer's murder conviction, the trial court instructed the jury on the elements of murder: that a human being was killed, the killing was unlawful, and the killing was done with malice aforethought. More importantly, the trial court instructed the jury on the special circumstance allegations that the murder was committed for financial gain. The jury found Moyer guilty of first-degree murder and found the special circumstance allegations that the murder was committed for financial gain was true. As to the factual finding, Moyer has the requisite intent to kill. Here the trial court did not err in denying Moyer's petition because he was ineligible for relief as a matter of law based on the jury's special circumstance finding he was the actual killer, or he was a direct aider and abettor who had the intent to kill the victim. In my opinion, many in the police, judiciary, and prosecutors' offices believe that insurance fraud is not a violent crime. When a man breaks his wife's neck so he can collect the proceeds of a life insurance policy, that action is a violent crime, and as violent a crime as can be conceived. The unmitigated gall of the murderer to first unsuccessfully appeal his conviction and then move to reduce his sentence failed because the evidence was overwhelming, and the California Court of Appeal recognized that murder for profit is a serious crime, keeping Moyer in prison for the rest of his life. This video was adapted from my blog, Zalma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zalma.com/blog. You can subscribe to the blog and you will receive notice of every blog posting, usually 5, sometimes 6 a week, and you will gain access to the more than 5,050 blog postings. You can also subscribe to my Substack as a free subscriber and receive the same notice. You can subscribe to the videos as well as to the blog. They're all free. And if you do, you will receive notice of every blog posting, and you will gain access to the more than 5,050 blog postings. Please tell your friends and colleagues about this blog so that they too can subscribe. And if you're interested in further detail about insurance, insurance claims, insurance law, and insurance fraud, please consider for a very small fee subscribing to my Substack publications. Thank you for your attention.